Hello, ArtFam. It's Luis Martin, the art engineer, and welcome to the safe space. Welcome to the studio. You guys, it's absolutely insane as always. Before we start, remember to tell your friends to like, subscribe, become a member. We're doing the most amazing things in the underground playground, which is our members' new members page. What else can I say? So become a patron for $5, get access to that. Become a digital member, get a digital collage kit. Exciting things happening there. And also become a member to receive a physical Collage Dream Kit. We are in May. June is my birthday, and I celebrate the whole month, not just a day. And I make sure to make that kit like a huge gift from me to you. So I'm already working on it. You're not gonna want to miss it. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm sad. And see, this is the medicine. I can say it to you and then I can laugh, right? But if I say it to myself, then I can probably cry. So I won't do that. It's been a really interesting couple of hours. I've been getting a lot of calls from people who just need someone to talk to, and I'm there, and I hear kind of sad things. And sometimes we just need to bear witness. Period. Right? I have a tendency when somebody calls me, I want to fix their problem. I want to put a band-aid. I want to make a spell, a remedy. I want to pray. And you can do all that, but really, sometimes people just need to be heard, right? To be seen. And I'm okay being that once in a while, if not always. And yeah, so I got some. So what do you do with that energy? You put it back into the ground, right? If you feel the pressure of the news of the world, observe it without absorbing it, right? Observe it without absorbing it. So we take it and we put it back into the ground. Through art, through ritual. So one way of doing that for me is through my journal, right? Instead of pretending like, okay, I'm just gonna go about my day, I'm going to go slow, be gentle. I'm gonna work out today, I'm gonna do my gym, but perhaps I'll go gentle, perhaps I'll go at a different time, I'll give myself time. Because really, we just can't go on like nothing's happening, right? So I'm gonna work on this, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna. So, if you know anything about me, you know that I am not linear. I'm not linear. What do I mean by that? I don't go from the beginning to the end. I go in the middle. I go everywhere, and I live my life that way too. I'm already an old man, but I'm still 16. I mean, it's the best way to be, really. So I'm just gonna grab a stack of uh, clippings from my many boxes, as you can see. Whoops, that's a naked person. As you can see, this is my pile. So I'm just gonna grab some stuff and see what comes out, and I'm just gonna be open to creating something. Okay, how are you? I have my coffee. No matter what, I always have my coffee. Because then the world is better, right? Yeah. I also got a sty, you guys. You see it? It's really weird. And part of the witchiness. Yeah, these are manifestations of stress. You know, when you don't alleviate your stress, they have ways of coming out in the physicality, and they manifest somewhere or the other. So be careful. All right, I got this. I got this. And I'm just gonna put it in my book and see what happens. So I'm gonna open to just a page. Just a page. Voila. And I'm just gonna go at it. And we'll talk. Let's have a conversation. How are you? Thank you everyone for posting your comments. Jen, thank you for sharing for the first time, I think. Matt, you're famous in my world. I don't know what you were talking about. Look at that, a feather. That's all I need. And maybe instead of scissors, I'll do this. So, along with everything, and this is kind of dark, so trigger warning. So I live on the East River. I live in New York, and you know we have these stories of New York, but for the most part, it's not as seedy as you would think. They make it seem that way. But the other day on Mother's Day, after we had our Mother's Day brunch and ate all of our yummy desserts that we got from this wonderful bakery in the Lower East Side, that I will not say because it's mine. No, I'm just kidding. It's called Le Petit Show. So good. Anyway, there were all these helicopters, and we're like, "What's going on? Are we in LA again? What's happening?" And they were pulling a body from the river, and it was really intense because even as I say it now, I was really surprised how it didn't shock me. It didn't move me, right? Because I've been so desensitized. We've been so desensitized from seeing it in shows and movies and video games. And then for an instant I thought, well, why would it be shocking? It's one body opposed to all of the bodies that I've been knowing about in Gaza and in Africa. And you know, it takes a moment to realize, holy mother, I need to hold on to my humanity. We need to hold on to our humanity, right? Is that a lot? Like, what? We're 3 minutes in and I'm already talking about this? So, you know. Oh, look how beautiful. So, it's been heavy, you guys. It's been heavy. And the one of the ways we can cope with it is through our work, through our art. Because that's what we're here to do. That's how we do it. So I finished reading my Kurt Vonnegut book, and it closes with the most beautiful thing. And this is the thing, you guys. I was just watching Frasier from 1993 because I love that show. He's so pretentious, unlike anyone I know, and it was a really annoying episode that I don't really like, but it's called what was it called? Splitting Frasers, and it was about parallel universes. Yeah, I mean, see, it finds you everywhere. It was about Frasier making different decisions and how those decisions, small or big, have ramifications. So he was choosing whether to wear a sweater or a jacket to his speed dating event. And they show what happens when he chooses either or. But at the end of the episode, they both have the same ending. So it's telling us, no matter what, there's already a prescribed ending, which is kind of, you know, debatable. But what I love, because it makes me think, and it reminds me that when you're aligned, it doesn't matter which way you go, you'll always end up where you need to be, right? And that's a really good mantra. Whenever you feel afraid or concerned, you know, pray or meditate, and remember that you're always in the right place at the right time. This is part of my daily meditation, and it helps, because even if you're not, then you know, you're aware, and you course correct. Course correction is always an option. Okay. So again, I'm not doing anything, you guys. I'm just filling the page with colors and images that I've collected that I already know I love, right? So texture, feathers, the American flag on fire. No, this is what I loved. Okay, so this, does anybody know what this is? Make today his brute day. This is a cologne from the 80s. This is from 1979. So yeah, my dad used to buy this, and my dad smelled like this, which is why I collected it. But I mean, this is pretty interesting too, and see how this could be today, right? So let's work with this. Oh, look what I found. A lion. So yeah, so that's what was outside my window, my friends. And it might be no different where you are, and that's not okay. That's not the norm. That shouldn't be the norm. But we can protect ourselves. We can overcome this. So we do what we can independently and collectively, right? So let me just collage for a second. And you know what? Silence is golden, so I'm going to shut up for 30 seconds and just be together. How about them apples? Also, for to the wise, I realized how many times I say that. How about them apples? As I was editing last week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've become this old person that just has like those dolls that you pull the string. That's one of the things that comes out. Okay, so I'm just gonna shut up for 30 seconds. I'm not gonna time it, but it'll feel like an eternity. So let's just be together. Ready? That was about 30 seconds. How did that feel? I loved it. Why? What happened? I could hear the paper rustling. I could hear the air conditioning. And it lulls me. It fills the room, right? And as I'm doing this, I can imagine what you're doing or what you're listening to. Maybe you hear traffic outside, or maybe you hear the birds. And then we're connected that way. So this is also a good meditation moment, right? And you know that when you can be with people and observe silence together, that's when you know you found your tribe. Because then you connect or you don't connect, and you know that you course correct, right? So that was lovely. Thank you for taking that with me. So I'm just making, isn't this beautiful? I'm just making space. This was from my visit to Seattle. We went to the Seattle Art Museum. There was a fantastic exhibit called Flesh and Blood. I don't remember the theme of it, other than it was just kind of gothic and slightly gory, but I loved it. Look at this. Even something like that's kind of fun, huh? Look at that. Okay, so look at this. This is going to be fun. He doesn't fit in my notebook all that great, so I'm just going to cut him in half and have him exiting the same way he's entering. It's kind of like he's biting his own tail. And as we know, that's what? A symbol of alchemy, right? Remember our Arcana sessions? So I like to leave a lot of white space, because then now I have room to write. All this stuff I can write on, right? I mean, I can write on this too, but I would need a special marker, a Posca pen perhaps. Here it's just going to be a pencil or a pen. Yes, okay, that works. I can keep going, I can make more. Look at this. Oh, I love her. She looks like my grandma, she looks like my aunt, perhaps. So one of the messages that I got was from a friend who recently lost her husband. And, you know, a lot of people have come through Collage Dream, and we've connected, you know, we lose ways, but, you know, we're always connected. And for some reason, it really hit me. I think I only met this couple twice, but sometimes that's all you need, right? So, again, when things like this happen, it's not up for you to solve life, death, find meaning in any of it, but just to bear witness, and remind them that you're here and that we're here together. And the best advice I've ever heard about death is that to look for them in the place where they are, not the place where they've been. Right, so don't look for them where they used to be. Look for them where they are, which is right here, right? And probably in your art too. So my friend, I love you and I'm here for you. And maybe that's all I need to say today. Maybe that's all I need to say. I was going to cut this, but I have this. I was thinking the other day about being an artist, because every time I meet people and they ask me what I do, I say I'm an artist. And the next question, more than anything, more than what kind of art do you do, or about the same, is do you have any shows right now? And I don't. I usually don't. So I have very mixed feelings about shows. because I come from an art school background and museum background, I know the work that goes into shows, and it's not really aligned with what I do, right? Instead of submitting 100 open calls and getting 98 rejections, I would rather put my energy in something like this where my goal is to share my work and to talk about art as a point of conversation, as a point of soul work, as a point of healing. Um, because I realized that my audience is not the cool kid making art for themselves. Not that that's a bad thing. It's not for the gallerist to sell my work. My audience is you, the person that wants to be reminded and reflected about the magic of art, about the power art has to build community. That's what I want to do. So, needless to say, there are many ways to be an artist, and don't feel bad if you are neither of those things, right? But if you do, if you want to be in a gallery, then go do it. If you never thought of it before, well, then here it is, right? Because here's the thing, right? You don't know what you don't know. And how are you supposed to know that there are other ways, right? There's a great story, and I think I've shared this before. I'm telling you, today we're just going to ramble. There's a great story that they teach you in business about why we do the things we do, right? Why we, as artists, pitch to the galleries, why we, as artists, starve ourselves. So this story is about this woman who's a baker, and she bakes this bread, and she always cuts the edges. And the bread is delicious, and people are like, oh, I love this. Why do you cut the edges? And she's like, oh, I don't know. It's a family tradition. My mother does it. But why? The person asked. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'll ask my mom. So the person went, and they asked their mom, Mom, why do we cut the edges of our bread? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Your grandmother used to do it, so it's tradition. We do it. And then the grandmother was still alive. So like, well, let me ask your grandma. So they asked the grandma, they call her, they're like, Mom, you know that bread that everybody loves? Why do we cut the edges? Does it make it taste better? Does it, what? She's like, oh, well, no, my oven was too small, so I just cut the edges so it would fit. We just don't know what we don't know, right? We just assume everything is law because it feels that way, because it's been introduced to us that way. So question everything and realize that there's always option 2, option 3, option 4. Nothing is set in stone. Forget what you've heard. Forget what you've heard. Do we need another 30 seconds of silence? I feel like this is heavy. I think that's what we'll call this episode, the heavy heart episode. How about that? I left the apples off. Okay. So I do like her, but I took her head off weird. I don't know. Look at this. So when you're doing this, I kind of just really enjoy creating backgrounds for me to come back later. And I'll show you. We'll look at some of my other pages here. So another thing that I do, of course, is when I do feel heavy-hearted, I do give myself space, right? I listen to the music that I need to listen to. I cry. I sing really loud where I can, let it all out, so I don't get styes, and then I move on. Okay, so this is it. So I like things like this because then I can just kind of flip it, and then the conversation continues from one page to the next. And that just feels nice. Now, I've shared this with you. This is from a cafe that I went to with my friend Abdel many, many years ago. Okay, what else do we have? Did I make this? I don't think I did. I love it. Maybe I did. I feel like my brother might have made that. Okay, no, he made that. I made this one. I love to draw. Isn't she fun? I did not create her. I saw something similar and I drew it from it. Because copying is the best way to learn. Just be sure you give out, retribution and share your resources. but success leaves clues, right? So then I made her brown because I liked her better that way. Robert Downey Jr. My brother made this. Isn't that fun? I love the hair. Okay, so I'm going to continue a little bit more as we... Look, this is already made. As we talk. So I wanted to show 2 more things before I even consider letting you go. One of them is this record that I just bought you guys. I know, I'm a flaneur. Do you know what that means? Look it up. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm a flaneur. And it's a French word. And I got this amazing album. It's called Out of Season, and it is the most soulful album by Beth Gibbons and Rustin Man. It's a perfect song to sing and cry to. But why? Why do you say why invest in vinyls? Why invest in CDs or tapes if you can stream them? Well, here's the thing: stream only works when the licenses are all dandy and everyone's getting paid. The moment someone isn't getting paid, they're yanked out. For a very long time, Prince was not on these things. For a very long time, Aaliyah wasn't on these things. So if you didn't have a physical record, literally a physical record of what they created, then you wouldn't be able to enjoy the magic of their music. What does this say? The Wizard of Oz, Modern Magic, Cindy Sherman, COVID Expose. Oh God, what a great list. I wonder what it all means. So I say I'm going to keep all of my favorite records and have them in case the electricity goes out, right? Although I guess I would need a hand-cranked Victrola for that. It's okay. And then the other thing that I really wanted to share was the ending, because you know I love spoiling shit and I love giving you the ending to things. The Kurt Vonnegut book ended the most beautiful way. And this is the thing that I'm telling you, right? When you stay aligned, the things that nourish you will find you no matter what. No matter if you pick a sweater or a jacket, right? And I'll share that with you right now. Alright, so this is the Kurt Vonnegut book. Oh, I started the Albert Camus book, but it was such a downer. It was all about suicide, and I said, I don't need that right now, so I put it away, even though it was so expensive. Okay, so 400 pages later, it ends with this, and the only thing you really need to know is that it's from an excerpt from one of his books where they have a dialect and yada yada yada. So it says, okay, so this is a dialect. Gat met Mut, crooned Dr. Kongswald. Diat met Mat, echoed Papa Monzano. God made mud, this is the important part, was what they said, each in his own dialect. I will here abandon the dialect for the litany. God got lonely, said von Kugenswald. God got lonesome. That's what he said. So God said to some of the mud, sit up. God said to some of the mud, sit up. See all I've made, said God. The hills, the sea, the sky, the stars. See all I've made, said God. The hills, the sea, the sky, the stars. And I was some of the mud that got to sit up and look around. And I was some of the mud that got to sit up and look around. Lucky me, lucky mud. Lucky me, lucky mud. Sit up, look around. It's all there for you. Yeah. See, I can't do that in a gallery. I can't do that in a museum. I'll be dead. And that's fine, but let me share this with you now. Okay, so wasn't that beautiful? Yeah, that was beautiful. Let me know what you think. I hope I'm not bringing you down. Quite the opposite. I hope you feel as elevated as I feel now, having played a little bit here. This is the most beautiful combination of colors that I've ever seen. Pink and green. Ugh, look at that. So let me just take this out. So I save all of these things, and I've shared this before, right? Surround yourself with the things that you love, and they'll just follow you. I remember once we were looking for a hotel, we were gonna go away somewhere, and Elvis booked a hotel somewhere in Newport, and it was just beautiful. And I went back to work, I was doing my collages, and I went to one of my books, and there it was. I had already seen this and said, wow, I want to be in this. So I put it in my notebook, and there we are. There we are. And really, that's how it works. That's how it works, my friends. So, be light and sit up. Okay, I think this is it. I just needed to kind of remind myself, more than anything, more than making a pretty collage, I needed to remind myself of the things in the world that I love, like beautiful hotel rooms with pink beds and green walls, collages that are always in the works in my studio, unfinished, giving me purpose to come back to it, conversations that flow into the next page, lists that mean something, and maybe that's something I can do when I'm retired from what? I don't know. But that's it. All right, and a little drawing. So this is a short video. I just really needed that moment to kind of just readjust. So know that we are here, and we are all light posts. And meet us in the underground. Go to collagedream.com. Become a member, become a patron, become ArtFam, and all is well. All right, this is Luis Martin. I will see you there.